Hello, let's play a Cross the Streams puzzle. This is called 2's, and it's by Ashish Kumar. I sourced this from GM Puzzles. There's a link in the description if you would like to try the puzzle yourself. All right, so the way this works is we're going to be shading some cells. Now, all of our cells need to be completely connected in some way. Like it can do weird things like this, but they do end up having to be connected in some way. And the connections are through edges, not diagonally. Diagonally doesn't count. Now, what we're not allowed to do is create a 2x2 area of shaded cells. So in any 2x2 area, there is at most three, basically. Can't make it a whole full 2x2. All right, so now how are we shading though? That's what these numbers outside the grid are for. This tells us the consecutive run in order of shaded cells. Now this one's a little special in that it only uses 2's. That's probably why it's called 2's. And that's just Ashish's decision. But other ones you play will have different numbers, potentially. But what this means is we're going to need two shaded cells and then at least one in between. Maybe we could have two in between. Something like this would work. Or we could do this, or we could do this, right? Just as long as there's two, two, and two of consecutive runs of shadeds with at least one unshaded in between those. Now, question mark means there's any number of shaded. So we could do two, two, and one and leave the rest unshaded. Or we could do two, two, three, right? But the point is that we need a consecutive run there. It's just we're not given the length. Now, star means you could have none shaded. You could have any number of runs shaded. You could have a single run shaded. Everything could be shaded. So it's basically star is like this row or column can do whatever the heck it wants. So there's no restriction. And that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you want to try it yourself. And I'm going to get started right now. Okay, so how do we want to get started? I've never done one of these before, but this is supposed to be a 2 out of 5 star difficulty. So it must have to do with the fact that we need 2, 2, 2. So the bare minimum, like if I start all the way on the left, I'm going to do 2, 2, 2 this way. If I start one forward, I'm forced to do 2, 2, 2 this way. So I wonder if there's like a forced cell that like can't be unshaded. Well, yeah, because if I could start here or here, but I can't start here. Like I can't have both of these unshaded because then I don't have room to do 2, 2, 2. So at the very least, this one is shaded. Because again, if this is unshaded, I can't do this one, so this one's also unshaded. I'm going to use green for unshaded. Like known unshaded, I'm going to use green. This is just the right click. So this one is shaded, which means either it's with this one or this one. But that's on a star column, unfortunately. But that is true of all of these 2, 2, 2's. Now we think starting on the right side, I think we have the same issue. So like we can do this, but we can't do this, which does mean that it's just symmetrically we need those to be shaded as well. And also this one. Oh no, the star could be one. I think the star here means that there can be one, there can be zero, there can be five, right? We don't know how many regions there are, so it just ends with a two and a two. But then from there, we can do whatever we want. We can do nothing. We could do all three. So there's nothing we can really say there. Now we have a vertical 2, 2, 2, which means this one and this one are shaded. This is on a star. This one's a part of a 2, so these two are shaded. Now this star can do anything, so it doesn't tell us that anything there. Interesting. So these are kind of offset from each other in that this one here is either going to go up creating a 2 or down creating a 2. Whichever one it does that to, there's an unshaded after it. And so here we end up, like if it chose this way, we end up doing this. I think, hold on. We at least end up doing this, but I don't know if it continues further from there. This one should. Yeah, this one would. This one doesn't. So, what do I do with that information? Let me look at the consequence there. So whichever one does it, let me just pick the top row. Whichever one does not take the shaded for this two is going to exactly end up like this. And does that affect, so this would be a 2. This would be a 2 like this, which forces that. I'm not sure this is going anywhere. Okay. Do I have anything else? Wow. I mean, we have we have connectivity. We need to make sure we're all connected. So that's something to think about. But these stars seem to give a lot of opportunity to do that. This starts and ends with a 2 with something in the middle. This has two 2's with something at the end. If this 2 starts here, like how late can this 2 start? I think we could do this. This is possible, but that's as late as this 2 starts. So it doesn't actually force... Somewhere in these 4, we have 2 shaded. That's all that's we can really say. And then somewhere in these 4, we have 2 shaded. Wait, what was I thinking about this one? 2 something. Wait. I could go here. 2 something shaded. I could do that. So 2 out of these 4, 2 out of these 4 are shaded. At least. Because I think I could do 2, 2, 2, or that. Yeah. Wow. How do I do this? This is our 2. It's unshaded here. Now we could do 2 more here, but we could also do it all the way over here. So the star means do anything or nothing. I guess I could double check that I said the rules correctly. Any number of unknown groups, including none or all. Yeah. So I did say that correctly. Now, I wonder if connectivity is the important thing, or no 2 by 2 is the important thing. So the no 2 by 2 rule might be important here. Like if I do this, we can't make a 2 by 2 here. And it's the same deal here. If I do this, I can't make a 2 by 2 there. So this is never shaded. But that affects this star and this star. That doesn't really mean much. But it does mean that, okay, so if we do this, think about the connectivity here. This is going to have to get out. But, I mean, we already kind of knew that. One of these doesn't get out. Oh, we can't do this. Right, it's isolated. So if I make this the 2 vertically, the 2 has to stop here, and then horizontally the 2 has to stop here. And now look, this is not connected at all. Okay, so connectivity is important there. So, and recognizing that we couldn't do the 2 by 2 at the same time. So we're going to do this, which is surrounded by unshadeds. And I do believe that forces this to happen. No 2 by 2, no 2 by 2. Okay. Now this has to get out. It's going to come up here. This has to get out. That's our 2. Yeah, and this is forced as well. So we were saying that now, I guess this middle one now has to be shaded because we can't unshade all of these. And so we're either going to do this or this, right? If we unshade all of these, I don't have room to do the 2 and then the question mark, which has to be at least 1, and then the other 2. So, so this middle one here is shaded, which is going to do this. And then this could go either way. Okay. This has to get out. It still has to get out. Okay, now it's connected to something. This has to get out. Still has to get out. Don't make a 2 by 2 here. This has to get out twice. Okay. This is part of a 2, so that's not shaded. Now, we're either going to do this 2 or this 2. So this middle one is shaded, for what it's worth. Here, yeah, I don't know where this other 2 goes. There can be anything in the front or nothing. Oh, this now has to get out twice. Okay. This is part of either the 2, the question mark, or the 2. Well, this is the first 2. This gets out twice. Again, it's got to connect. So this, this could be the question mark singular with an unshaded here, and then this goes down as a 2. Or it could, oh, it can't actually, if we connect this, the question mark would be a 3, but that doesn't work because then we don't have room for the 2. So that's exactly what happens. This comes out. All right. This still has to come out. This is part of a 2, that's part of a 2. Okay. Don't make a 2 by 2 here. So this is all connected. It can get out a couple ways. This can get out a couple ways. This cannot be shaded because it would be isolated. All right. Here I've got, yeah, this is just a star, so that doesn't matter. Are there any verticals I can do? Yeah, so this is 2, 2 question mark. This can't be part of a 2, so it's not. This is our 2, and then our question mark is a singular 1. And so now, oh, this is 2, 2 on the right side, right? And then this can do anything or nothing. Don't make a 2 by 2. This whole area here isn't connected to anything else, so it's got to get out through here. This area, it's going to go down or left. Not helpful. Okay, I got to look for any clues that I might not have done yet. This has a question mark, then a 2. I'm not sure exactly where those go. This did 2, 2 question mark. This does anything. Okay, 2 question mark 2. That works. And 2, 2, 2. So I'm not sure if there's any clues I haven't thought about enough yet. So could it be connectivity only? If I did this, I mean, that seems okay, right? Because this would be unshaded. This gets out. Don't make a 2 by 2, but it's still connected to stuff. So like I was trying to think if we're required to do this in order to connect stuff together. But we're not. Are there any 2 by 2s I might have missed? I don't think so. So is it this question mark 2 that I got to worry about? There's so many stars around here that I don't really see a requirement there. Oh, this whole blob has to get out, so we can at least do that. These are going to have to connect somewhere. But again, it's all stars. We don't really care how. And then they're going to connect through this up into here. What am I missing about the logic here? What if this was the last 2? Even if it did this, we'd be unshading those, and we wouldn't make a 2 by 2, and we'd isolate. Like this whole area wouldn't get up into here. So this isn't the 2 down. It's definitely not the 2 up, right? Maybe, hold on. What made me do that last one? If we do this, oh, no 2 by 2. Yeah, so this isn't the final 2, downwards at least. Upwards, we actually could connect. Interesting. Did I think about that right? Why is undo not working anymore? Oh, now it is. Right, if this 2 goes down, I have to unshade these and that, and we don't get through. Right, it's because of it being the last clue of 2. Now, what about if the 2 were here? That's unshaded. We'd have to come out through here. Seems okay to me. So like I could, oh, but if this was the last 2, then I feel like maybe the only option is to do the 2 here. So I'm going to try to disprove this one. Don't make a 2 by 2. None of these are shaded. We have to do this to get the 2 question marks to work. We can do this to connect. Oh, this whole area is not connected now. When did that happen? That was because of this. That isolated this area. Okay. So it seems like Oh my gosh. Okay. It seems like this can't be the final two. If we go up, it can't be the final two. If we go down, it can't be the final two. So it's not the final two. And which means the final two is here. That's the only option. And that's unshaded. And now we have to get out through here. All these blobs have to go through here to get out. And then it would make sense to connect here. Yeah, if I go here, I can't make a 2 by 2. Hold on, what's different here? I can still connect up. If I go up, I don't know what distinguishes the few ways this can hook up. Is there a 2 by 2 I'm missing? Like, obviously, I need to shade some of these. Can I get away with not shading? Okay, I can't get away with not shading this because that makes a 2 by 2. So I gotta shade that one. And now don't make a 2 by 2. There we go. And now this has to get out. Okay, that's the only way to do it then. All right, now we just have to do this top left area. We have one question mark, one question mark. That's these two. They just have to have at least one unshaded in between them. So if I did this, I'd have to do that. And that. And that makes it 3. Okay. So there's something about that that's breaking. What did I say? Yeah, so if the 2 goes left, now I have too many question marks unless I could connect them here, I could connect them here. So this case breaks because I have to unshade that, and that isolates that tetromino there. If I go down and connect here, then does that actually work? That might work. Oh, that's the answer. I'd like to figure out why the other one doesn't work. So why can't we just do this? Don't make it 2 by 2. This has to come out. Oh, and this has to come out again, and now that's 3. Okay. So actually, yeah, the only option was to do it this way. Cool. All right. That was a fun first one to do. I had to think about 2's quite a bit. Luckily, the stars weren't all 2's. We couldn't have assumed that. It's interesting that this star ended up being 2 singles. It wasn't nothing. All right, cool. Well, how'd you do?